Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Lauren.
Hiya. How's the heat where you are?
It's probably hot, but I don't go out in a whole lot. I have a pool
Uh-huh.
and air conditioning and a breeze outside by the beach.
Yeah, well, I live in the Oakland Hills, so I count on the fog for my
Ah, the fog.
and, every year a few days it gets really hot, but we manage through it without air conditioning.
I remember it well.
When did you leave the Bay Area?
1982.
Yeah.
I've been back a number of times,
Uh-huh.
but I left in 1982. But I came right after college, so I was there in 1968.
Uh-huh. Very good.
I thought I was going to something like Hawaii. I thought that California was going to be like Hawaii and going to be hot and sunny.
Yeah.
It
And
was summer. It was the summer in San Francisco.
Beach Boys, Beach Boys, they didn't tell you that they were in Santa Monica, you know?
No
Oh,
one, no one in my family had ever been out there.
right, right.
I didn't
Absolutely.
know to bring cold, warm clothes or anything.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the first time I went to Japan, I took mosquito netting, and like I was going to the tropics.
Japan.
Yeah, well, I never used it. I didn't know.
I was in Japan, I think it was April.
Oh, a lovely time of year.
Saw Stan Pranin there.
Uh-huh.
Did you know Stan?
I did know him. Yes.
He was very tall.
Oh, yeah.
He was very tall. And so after 2 weeks of being in Japan and I saw him, I went, how do you manage here? And he said he ducks a lot.
Yeah. So I'm 189 centimeters tall, and the
I have
Japanese,
no idea what that is.
well, is 6'1". And
Okay.
Japanese OSHA standard for safe height is like 185. So I'm like 4 centimeters too short, 2 inches. And so I have like a spot that always gets hit. But, you learn to duck. You learn
I
to,
have long legs, and I remember sitting, even the car that we rented, the seats are so low, your knees come all the way up, or in the subway.
right, right. Who else is here tonight? Speak up, speak up. We're gonna rig Sensei with so he can see people on screen, and but he'll only see you if you have your camera on. You can only see 25 at once. So knock yourself out. Lots of people like to come on without their cameras because it's so much more private. Hello, Patrick.
Hi, Lauren. How are you doing?
Doing okay. Doing okay.
Good.
Getting ready for the long weekend staycation. Yeah, and the coming heat. It's supposed to be hot this weekend.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, and a friend down in San Diego lives in Del Mar, and he's worried about losing power. Yeah, because they've already sent out warnings that they might brown everybody out.
Uh-huh.
So, the Golden State.
Land of rolling blackouts.
Yeah. Oh, well, at least we have good internet. Oh, wait, that runs on electricity too. Hi,
Don't
Bob.
worry, I've got a small storage battery.
Hey, Bob.
Oh, I'm definitely into the batteries. I have, put solar and power walls on my house. And then I found that they wouldn't switch fast enough to keep my servers from rebooting. So I put a UPS on that.
Radios, all battery powered.
Oh, you're a ham?
Yeah.
Oh, what a valuable talent.
Yeah, great fun.
What a valuable talent. You have more blinky lights in your garage than I do.
Well, that and Jill is not a blinky light fan.
So all your blinky lights have been concentrated in your man cave?
Well, that or they've got tape over them.
Oh, well, it's good to see you. Hey, Roy.
Hey, Lauren.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Just found out they're going to have us work from home till June 30th of next year now. They've extended it again.
Oh
Is that
my.
right? For UCSF, all UCSF?
Anybody that can work from home, meaning that, it's possible.
Right.
Most people, I mean, almost everybody in all the offices.
Right. So not the doctors and nurses, not the hospital staff themselves, but the administrators and
Yeah,
the peripheral
Right.
enterprise.
the administration mostly.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's good news or bad news. I think it's prudent.
Yeah, where my
Okay.
wife works, they no earlier than they're likely, and there could be as long as dates. No earlier than is essentially the first of the year.
Hmm.
Absolute earliest.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see what happens over the weekend, how crazy people are at the beach and whatnot. And then from what I'm reading, it's the school and university clusters that are, apparently what CAL FIRE would say 0% containment.
Yeah. And potentially uncontrollable.
Right. It's fascinating to see the urge to hook up, the sexual imperative of being 17, 18, 19, 20. We all remember, and we wouldn't disagree necessarily, but from the perspective of,
I think, yeah, I remember that.
right. All right. But but anyway, we're here to do Aikido tonight and look at the positive side of things. So as I said to everybody, said earlier, Ken Kron and Brad are down at Naido Sensei's home, helping with camera and computer. And we are hoping to engage more or allow. We've tried to get the tech set up so that Naido Sensei can engage with you more in a new and different way. And he can see you now if your camera is on. He can see 25 people at once. When you speak, you'll go full screen, so he'll be able to more engage. It looks like he's not quite looking at the camera because he's looking at the TV. And so you have to bear with us on that. And so, but we're trying to experiment with more sort of direct engagement. It's feedback we've gotten from a few people. Sensei is got a lot to share with us, and we're almost ready to go. So if you'll just bear with me for a moment, we'll check and see whether the show can go on. Stand by, please, one moment. And we're just getting everything. There's still people joining. Just give us a minute. It's really wonderful. Sensei is really appreciating how we have such a regular group on these Friday night sessions. He's impressed. I'm impressed. You should all be impressed with yourselves. I don't know if we'll get all the way to nobility, but
Wise guy.
at least somebody caught it. At least
Hey, I'm from Jersey, man. Are you kidding me? New York is not going to get by me.
Okay, we're ready when you are.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, may I present Robert Nadeau, Aikido 8th Dan, and our Sensei. So, Sensei, you're on.
I'm on. Thank you. Thank you. Are we all right? Sound wise, everything? Okay. All right. Big picture tonight. I'll do my best. Oh boy, I'm biting off a lot. I want to warn you that I'm getting in some cases here past my pay grade. So if I pass on some of your questions, it's because I don't know yet. This layout will be from Osensei. Okay. All of these pieces are overlaid, but for clarification, I'll lay it out piecemeal. Okay. In the beginnings, before the beginnings, there is something I call unnameable. Some of you call God or something. I call it the unnameable. And it was this mass, just this vast mass. Now, somehow or other, this vast mass decided to do something. So I say it pulled in and then boom, the next circle. So first is this vast mass unnameable, okay? If I use the word God, you already have your own view on that. And you've heard it when you were a little kid and you don't like it and all, and he wears a white beard, God, and stuff like that. Unnameable, just something vast that's wah, okay? Now this wah decided, now don't ask me why, it's past my pay grade. Why did this vast mass decide to start a creation? Interesting question. We'll put that one aside. But when it did its first move, we come to the second phase. And Osensei would call that heavenlies. Okay. And in the heavenlies, one of the first pieces there was the self or consciousness, personal consciousness. That piece of you that you're still related to, but we got kind of torqued in. So we're not disconnected, but not as aware as we could be of our original true self. You want to call that soul? Feel free. Okay. So we have this from this unnameable vastness. Next, this setup for creation. One of the first pieces there is this soul consciousness, better word, consciousness. And within itself, it's conscious and experiencing conscious. It's not two pieces that be is within itself. Okay, so aware experience, let's call it. also there is this all this energy or aliveness. Osensei would call it the all key place. Now, again, be careful of these words because down here in human land, oh yeah, there's a little warmth sticking out of my finger. We'll call that key. So do be careful. We're talking about the original of the original. Okay, so your sense of it won't quite be what it itself is in its total vastness, originality. But we'll work our way there. That's why we do what we're doing. So what do we have? We have the self there, the soul, that consciousness, personal consciousness. We have all this aliveness or key. All the qualities are there. Okay. At one level, I know the qualities to be all loving, all intelligent, all powerful, and all harmonious. And you can change the words if they're comfortable for you. For example, Wada likes, instead of all harmonious, he likes all beauty. Close enough, whatever. Okay, but you have to sense. And those are all originally there. Where are we? This is the prep for the creation that we're going to move into. This is the prep. Now here, in the original, we had it all potentially. It was all there. All we had to do was hang out and experience it before it laid itself out in creation, which is the next step. Okay. If we had done a better job of being fuller present there, the trip through creation and back would have been a cruise, man. It would have been a soft touch. But Osensei said we were a little bit sometimes like children and we didn't have any patience. So instead of soaking fully in that second stage with everything that was there, some of us jumped the gun. Okay. We got, oh, look at that. Creation's coming up. Zoom. And we kind of jumped the gun and lost that fullness capability. Did I say that okay? Is everything okay so far? Also, in that too fast to move, we tended to highlight a little bit more awareness of. And I don't know what the percentage is, but that was a high percentage of people being aware of and not catching the experiential part. Remember, in this this heavenly, it was experiencing, I am aware I experience. It was a fullness, but we jumped it a little bit and lost some of that. Okay. Is that a note for me, Laurie? No. Okay. Are we okay so far? So we've got this heavenly place, and then we move into creation. Now the heavenly, to create. Oh, also originally in there was this urge to create. I don't know if it started earlier in the unnameable or started when the next phase. Anyway, someplace here very early is this, what Osensei called urge to create. Okay, and that's a very powerful force, apparently, the impression he gave me. So we start to move into the creation as we know it. Now, to do that, to get a creation as we know it, it has to split into twos. So all of this heavenly oneness had to split into twos to create this vast array, this variety in the creation. So twos, different ways of calling out the twos. Some of it would depend on your, if you're Chinese orientation, they had words for it. American Indian had words for it. So every culture has words for it. But basically, it's a great she force and a great he force. Okay? Or yin yang. Okay? So anything twosies like that represents that first movement to actually create. positive receptive, he, she, the great mom and the great dad, the great mind and the great body. I don't like that phrase because we tend to think of this as body. And we don't, a lot of people don't think much of the body. So I don't like the word body in that case. The great mind and the great all the other stuff. I prefer stuff than body. Stuff gives me a chance to pick up the vastness and endless dimensionality of it. So where are we? So it's split into twos. And as it's moving into creation, that original soul, personal consciousness, it's there. Okay. But again, starting to spin a bit. We lost the fullness. Remember, we're starting to spin a bit. And in that spin, spun into very tight. So what happened from the finer beat of the creation, and in that beat is that echo theory, okay, beats out and it comes back. And so we have that outflow and returning backflow. So it doesn't matter how tight one could get pushed, there is an equal backflow. And we'll take advantage of that later. What have I missed? Check. Okay. So as it moves into 3, the creation as we know it, Osensei called that hidden. So you have the heavenly, hidden, manifest, okay? The hidden is a lot of dimensions in there. One sense I have, this is not, the words are not from Osensei, but one sense I have is like a weaving. And that first weaving was like the purest of silk. And it just wove this beautiful, perfect, silky thing. And it continues to beat and the instead of it being a pure silk, it starts to get heavier. What's the word? Hang on a second. Just more coarse material. And here we are in physical. That's pretty coarse. Okay. And that's as far as we go ahead.
Is dense the word you're looking for?
Doesn't matter. You got the flavor. Yeah, dense, fine. Yeah. Okay. And so we got involved pretty heavy. We really spun into pretty tight physical. It's almost like we couldn't go any further. But I make a joke: if we could have gone a little further, we'd be rocks now. You wouldn't be a human being; you'd be a rock. Fortunately, we couldn't spin in that tight. Okay. So it stopped around ape human level, someplace in there. Okay? And then we started to open up and slowly start to work our way back. So you go from Cro-Magnon, whatever, to sort of an upright semi-human to whatever. So very slowly working our way back. But that's kind of too slow. We'll try to speed the process up. So unnameable sets up for creation, heavenly, starts its move, 2 beats, and all the qualities, by the way, are involved in that movement. So they're all there available. It goes from finer to heavier. So we're in heavier and we're going to dimensionally work our way through to finer. Are we okay so far? So that brings us to here where we are, being physical dimension, Bobby land, if you would. Okay. Big bite. Let's see if I can clarify anything here. Give me a moment. Okay, now all of these are overlaid. So I laid them out linearly to facilitate being humans here. But they're all overlaid. So here you have the unnameable, and bing, here you have the heavenlies. Bing, here you have the finer of the beginnings of creation and the he, she stuff going on and all the qualities and stuff going on. And within that tighter dimension, physical, Bobby land. They're all overlaid, okay? So that's why Osensei said, don't go anywhere. You're right smack dab in the middle of it. It's not like, oh, heaven's over there. No, it's here, but it's in a finer, finer, finer. So we have to open up and pass through, experience the dimensional finer of things, and then you'll hit the finer of this is silky level. Let's say, don't hold me to silk, but very fine level. And then you can continue a major move into the heavenlies, very big move. Osensei made that move, very big time move. So it's all here. Okay. Oh boy. Anything up to this point? I think that's the main brunt. Are we on open mic?
Only if you want to, Sensei. Are you calling?
Yeah, sure. Let them jump in before we get further along.
So everyone, you heard, is anybody have comments or questions so far? Let's just shout out.
Hi, Sensei. This is Justin in Miami. Would
Hey,
you,
Justin.
hi, would you just elaborate for a moment about the hidden realm a little bit as to the workings
Finer
of the
dimension.
stuff, if you will? Thank you.
Okay. The finer dimensions of things from the heavier physical to finer and finer and finer, mixes up a finer body, and not physical, a finer character. There we go, finer character. And that's Bobby, Robert, Nadeau pattern. It's easy and open. It mixes up a finer, okay? And what we're trying to do in Aikido, by the way, or some of the other arts, Tai Chi, inner art, same. So Justin, I got lost. What exactly are we looking for here in the?
So if you would, a little clarification on the difference between heavenlies manifest, but there's a hidden of workings of stuff.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on hidden a little bit more, please?
The beginning of creation. So there's the preset of it, getting ready for it, heavenly. Boom, there's another boom, okay? I say it pulled in and then there was next. Osensei said, wanted to correct me, but said, no, it folded in. Myself haven't caught quite the difference between pulling in, boom, and folding in. I feel it coming at me. I'll probably play with it this weekend. Anyway, so this next phase, we're on this next circle, okay? This next circle. And it goes from finer to heavier. That's dimensionality. Okay, so where are we at? That's dimensionality. Finer to heavier and vice versa, from heavier to finer. We have to go through dimensions. They're separated out, separate from each other with this very thin wall. It's not really a wall. I call it paper thin. It's even thinner than that, but there is a little separation. There's a separation from Bobby to Robert. And some people are kind of heavy and they can't even pass through from their level Bobby to their Robert. That thin wall stops them. They misunderstand it. They don't know how to work with it. It's just that as you're squared away, it naturally opens up into the next dimension. If Bobby is easy and fairly fully there, Robert will start to remix and show and be present. Where are we, Justin? What am I missing here?
I think I'm getting the gist that the hidden element is this dimensionality process of perhaps using a travel vehicle to work either the I run or something of that nature. This is the workings of a process involves hidden.
Hidden is just the many dimensions that exist from heavier to finer.
Okay, that clarifies pretty well. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of them. Sensei like 7 or 8. I always like the number 7 on when I was playing big pre-Aikido. I like 7. He said, yeah, 7 or 8. It's close enough for government work, I would say. I'm not sure how he would word that, but close enough for common usage. But one of his mentors was Deguchi, who was apparently an expert on dimensionality. He said, oh, there's 120 or 140, I forget exactly now, dimension. So, but for practicality of sense, said, I'll deal with 7 or 8, good enough. So, whatever. Okay. Anything? Is that it? Just that one from Justin?
Yeah, this is Diana. I don't know
Yeah.
if this is a valid question, but so is creation still creating?
Yeah. It's continuing to do that. The heavier comes back to a finer around in the heavenly zone, and from there it kicks back out again. Fine. So yeah, that beat is still going on. Yeah. So I would say it's still creating. I think it's safe enough to say that. Essentially refer to that somehow or other, like it's changing all the time. So as you catch the beat of it, you can feel the changes and ride the changes. So I would also sense that it's changing all the time, is this continuous beat of it. Okay. It's continually exhaling and inhaling. Okay. Where are we? How are we doing? Anything else? Is that okay, Diane?
Yeah, Sensei,
Yeah.
this is Andreas.
Yeah.
After I heard the last question that you said, the first thing that went to my mind was this book that I read, and it's called The Alchemist. Apparently,
Yes.
this was written by a Brazilian guy. And the thing is like that, anyway, I don't want to give up the book, but the treasure was already in front of the guy. It was right there. So he did the journey, but it was already there, like the circle.
Yeah. We're so directly related that a lot of running around we're going to do. It's kind of important. We got to learn some of the tricks of the trade, but then to realize Osensei, it's right here, right now. Not only is it here, but for him, it was instantaneous. So he could work from this very advanced level, just click, click. Oh, that, by the way, refers to the Golden Bridge, Amane Ukehashi. Okay, the earlier perfection of things and the heavier that we're at are not a distance apart. Now, we pick it up as distance at first, but they're really bing, bang. They're right there. Okay, so yeah, but that's getting more advanced than we want to go. Okay. One more thing I wanted to say, that Sensei said that that this work is a spiritual science, not a religion. It's a spiritual science. If we can figure out how it's here's my purpose tonight on this. If we can clarify a bit how it laid out, then it should facilitate and make it easier to understand how we are working our way back and why we're doing some of the things that we're doing. Do I have to say that again? If we can understand how it laid out, it's much easier to track back in it. It's as good to know from whence you came as to where you're going, bing or bang, okay? So I'm hoping by laying this out, with apologies, it's a lot, that it will facilitate us starting from our Bobby level, whatever level you're starting from, to navigate, to work with how it works, which is a science, okay? All right. So anyway, I like that phrase, it's a spiritual science. I thought that was cool. And I think somebody else other than Osensei used that too, but I forget who. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay. anything while I skim my notes here? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Oh, this here. Since I like this diagram, I don't know if it was drawn properly, but basically it's circle, square, triangle. I think somebody asked me about that some weeks back and I never answered, probably. Circle, square, triangle. He liked that. Whenever he gave a talk, often that was one of the diagrams that he would show. Circle is okay, we're in our universe now. Circle is the universe we're in. Triangle is the character, if you would, in the universe. Bobby, Robert, Nato, in the realm situation he's in, the realm he's in, the world he's in. Those are all the same words. Okay, so that's the circle is the world. Triangle is the character setup. The square is the truer self that's here. And again, at Bobby level, it's kind of shrouded in with thick material. It's like a spider web kind of thing. You know, I'm like a fly and I got webbed in very tight here. You experience that if you remember the 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, which by the way, is really a great game. I think everything's there, but anyway. So a 1 by 1 is and my body doesn't move as well, and my view on life is for shit, if you would. As we settle a bit and open and clear, we're getting closer to self. So tight eye, easy the eye to get to a better level of self. Better level of self. Then because they're in tandem, they're all work together. The energies that mix up a better body character are better, and you have a better relationship with the situation you're in. Okay? All right. So anyway, since I like that, and basically it's an overlay pattern. Everything is overlaid and everything is connected. They're all in relationship. Okay, that's how it was laid out from the beginning. So again, we can take advantage of that on our, for lack of words, return journey. Okay. You jump in anytime. I look at my notes. Feel free, jump in.
Well, Sensei, this is Lauren, and
Yeah.
I just have to say that this is the first time I've heard this description of the circle, square, triangle. I've also heard it as air, fire, water. I've heard it as Tenkan, Irimi, being squared away. All these different things simultaneously.
Again, you see, the big thing being taught to people is going to be shrunk down. So we shrink it all the way down to, well, you stand in Hanmi, and then you who's it, and then your what's it. And this big sense of things has been squashed down to a people level. Here, I'll give you this little tidbit. Do you understand? So maybe I'm putting some teachers down with that, but so be it. So thank you for the observation. Yes, we okay? So now it brings us back to checking my diagrams. We got that, we got that. What's this one? Nothing. Nothing much. Okay, so how to use this. Okay, why do we easy the eye? Why do we meditate on that line? Meditation is not, let me think about that and think about this and think about that. Is a journey, if you would, from a tighter part of self, which we call I, easy the eye, we start to touch, because it's here, we start to touch a better level of ourselves. So any idiot, if he just have him calm down, will, you're right, Charlie. I shouldn't get so uptight about that problem. You're right. Thank you. That kind of thing. So that's the meditative or running that line. And then we continue to the ability of tracking it even into finer of self and finer of self. So because that original self is still present, it's not, in a certain way, there's not a lot of outer things you have to do. It's easy, the eye. Settle, these are added words to facilitate. You settle, you open, and probably in there you're breathing, fine. You're letting go of heavy stuff. Yeah, let go of that now. Easy, hush, quiet down, downtime. All of those are facilitating words to have the I realize experientially that it's a self, and then continuing, that self should realize it's a finer, more original self, continuing, and eventually you have a chance of hitting the most original self, which is the name of the game. Okay. Now, the other pieces are these two forces, okay, the he and she, or the great mind of things and the great stuff of things. Okay. And because they were originally one thing, remember here, they were one thing, but to create, it split into two, but that oneness sense is still inherent. So they have a real desire for each other. Whenever Osensei talked about these two and their relationship, his tonality would change. I'd say they really have an affinity for each other, don't they? And he'd go, oh, yes. This maybe the word love could come in there. They have a relation. You get a better character, you're going to get a better situation. And there's a relationship between those two, even at a small level. Okay? Don't want to get lost here. So, because the two forces are going on, that's where phrases like mind body harmony are coming from. There is an existing harmony between these two things that seem kind of separate. Remember when we did the up down beats, and I did just a basic beat? And then I said, okay, feels pretty good. Let's move on. And let's approach it just a hair different. Let's call this beat a he and this beat a she, whichever way you want to go with that. A he and a she, and they're dialoguing. He says to she heard it, and she retorts. At a tighter level, they're kind of bitchy at each other. Okay, if you're playing the game, then they're gonna, I don't trust you, I don't want anything to do with you, But as you continue to settle and open, where they have more room to dialogue with each other, they start to show their truer colors. You're moving into finer dimensions naturally there, and they're starting to speak truer, and they'll start to talk about caring for each other and supporting each other. Okay. I tried to show you the beginnings of that game with that sit stand, where I said, I have an idea that I would like to stand better. I said, that idea feeds down, if you would, to its partner, and the energy is a symbol, and boom, here they come, and they'll stand me better. I was just showing you that simple, dumb example is based on this big picture of mind-body harmony, or the great he and the great she, and their affinity for each other. Now, as we get tighter and tighter, we're probably going to see a lot of nah with them, and we don't see the harmony. We have to settle and get into a finer dimension, and they'll begin to show their truer colors. And as you go finer, they'll show truer their colors. So I play a lot of games. I think we probably mentioned some where you start with something, and you go, well, what is that really? Settle a bit. What is that really? What's your sense of that really? and it's not as bad. Okay. So for example, start with real crap. Okay. For example, and I used to do this in workshops sometimes, start with weird stuff. So let's say crap, and you settle and say, what is this really? Oh, and very soon it would get to a level where it's say, oh, I'm fertilizer. Oh, and that was and flavoring it was a whole different thing than flavoring crap. Crap is crap. Yeah. But suddenly it'd be fertilizer. And he'd continue a bit and say, yeah, well, tell me more about yourself, meaning I'm going to settle and open, and you're in a finer dimension of yourself. And then it would talk about all the energy it gives to the plant and stuff, how it was life-giving, and on and on and on. So you could start with anything tight and nasty, settle with it, and through this dimensionality process, it begins to show its true colors. It only looks like crap because I'm here in crap land. Okay. But as you move into 2x2, things are a bit better. As you move from there into a 3x3, oh, things are much better. I feel better. I see better. I function better. I'm more in accord with the world I'm in. That's a fantastic game. We'll have to go over that one again. I'll do some variations on it for fun, but it almost explains it all. Almost. Okay. See, this is what, again, if we get a drift of how this set up, then a lot of things we do, like the 1x1, 2x2 game, why the settling and easy so the self can start to show itself, how the energies that makes up a character can get better, and how the realm around it starts to be in accord. Okay? And that's what we're trying to show through the Aikido techniques. I don't know if I want to do anything, Barris, one time. Gotcha. Let's do standing.
And Sensei, can we move the easel out of the way for you?
No, it's fine. Okay. Okay, so that's what I want to do, or that's what's happening. Okay. Easy. Settle. Now I'm a little fast, but settling infers opening, infers energies at a finer level are gathering and mixing, and boom. Okay, now what I felt was energies from the ground through the body instead of just at first was from the chair, sort of. This next mix, it came from the ground, and she was affected apparently. Okay. I'm aware she was affected. I know how she was affected, but I don't want to continue out there. That's Aikido's mistake. Oh, they want more and more of that. It's like, no, it was more and more of this that produced a better that. Okay. Now in the Aikido world, to slam them a little bit, a lot of people in the beginning catch a bit of settling, or catch a bit of better center, or catch a bit ground, and they function better. And then I think they get caught up in the outer, because they don't, after a while, talk or really work center grounding energy mixes. Maybe they'll pay lip service, but they don't keep questioning. If this level of ground was great, gee, what's the next level of ground? Let me sense, experience that, easy, open. And I can feel it coming up, so I got to be careful here, where it's really starting to well up. And I have to be careful because I think she'll get caught in a strong thing. And there's a banister and stuff here. Dangerous in the house. Could you feel that beginning now? And how did you pick that up? I felt the beginnings of this surging up out like a wave. What was your sense?
I felt the wave coming from under the feet and going around.
Okay.
So that's much bigger.
Yeah, so not an unheard of experience in Aikido where you say, whoa, this wave. Okay. Now again, the heavy people, I don't know what to say to be derogatory. That's the way I am. Now to continue waving them great, you're pretty good. But shouldn't you question what's the pre of a wave? What's next in the next finer dimension? But right now you're waving them. You look damn good. They're being affected. You're the best in the class. Hey, I'm not going to open up anymore. I may lose this. I'm the best in the class. I ain't going to lose. I'm the best in the class. Okay. So there is the human condition weakness. We get caught up in outer and forget it got better by doing inner. Okay. And that's where we lose people. All right. They either won't know how to go better and better and better, or finer, through the process, or they're have some misunderstanding and they create fears or something about it, and that screws it all up. Too bad. They had the first touch on it, and then they forget it and continue looking good. Period. Okay. Thank you. Where are we? Somebody?
Well, Sensei, when you walk into a dojo, if we were all in the dojo right now, and you watched us doing whatever, katate dori ikkyo or something, and you'd walk over to me and you say, your heart's not in it, or where's your head, or you tell me to like settle down or something. What is it that you're seeing from a distance that you can come over and provide such accurate guidance?
I'm looking from a little better level. Okay. How to say that? Probably started in high school. I had to wear glasses for distance. And of course, I'm a teenager. I don't like to wear glasses, so I wouldn't wear my glasses at school. But I did learn, or something happened where I could see a body motion, somebody walking, and know who it was by how they were walking. I couldn't see their face, but I could tell by how they were moving. So I think it started way back then where my perception was a little different level than norm, I think. Okay. Even now, if I watch I don't know right now, but a blurry old Aikido back in the day, Hombu Dojo, I can usually tell who the uke is, although the picture's totally blurred. But I can see by how they're moving through the air. Oh, that's so and so. I used to be pretty good at that. Okay. So I think basically I see things from I settle and I open, and not only can I move better and have more energies flowing through, but my perceptions change. It's in the eye of the beholder. Okay. So a heavy person, whatever that means, only sees heavy stuff and doesn't see I see some data in there. They can't see it because their sense is too heavy. So they can't see the finer things that are there. Is that sort of coming across? I'm not finished yet, but is that coming across?
Yes.
Okay. So I used to practice with my people. Diane, we're going back to the old days here. Practice having them see energies. I settle them and we do all the settling, whatever kind of stuff. And then I'd have some people let energy flow. And